I know you're supposed to be working. I know this. We're going to get these sports today because it's Friday. QuickHits is on. And what else you got to do? You should have got your work done Monday through Thursday because you know the show's coming on. You should have got your work done on Monday, then tune in on Tuesday. Should have got your work done at that time so you can coast into the weekend, so you can get ready to chill, so you can get ready to enjoy the weekend. Because, man, look what we got going on this weekend. We got hockey going on this weekend. We got football going on this weekend. You got some fights. UFC 309 coming on. You got Jake Paul going up against Mike Tyson. You got a lot of sports going on. And why in the world you procrastinating all week, man? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. But that's okay. Enjoy your coffee. Enjoy your time with me, Podcast Smitty. Let's go ahead and get this theme music going. Let's go.
Can't fall off, now they holler he'll turn, thinking I'ma sell out, talking just to feel heard. I never listen, although they say it's strictly.
Welcome to Quick Hits. I'm your host, Shannon Smith, aka Podcast Smitty. Thank you guys for watching on Tuesday. We had a good time talking about some college sports. Got to talk about college football, college basketball. Had a good time doing all that. And of course, you hit my 5 for 5 for the week. Now, of course, today being it Friday, I'm getting you ready for your sports weekend. So we're going to have some good times. We're going to have some fun. So we can go ahead and get the analysis on the sports for this weekend. So sit back, relax, enjoy. And let's get this Friday going. Let's go. And now let's talk about these NHL quick hits as I wear my Colorado Avalanche hoodie from NHL.com. My childhood team here, but I also have love for the Carolina Hurricanes since I am a Carolina boy. Been watching the Hurricanes a lot. Very, very good hockey team. Very good program that we have on. So let's talk about this week in the NHL as we had the Hockey Hall of Fame happening on Monday evening, as we have some new men and women being added on to this very illustrious hall, as Colin Campbell and David Poile, who are all former players at one point in time and former execs for the NHL, and Natalie Darwitz and Chrissy Wendell, both professional women's hockey players and a part of that fabulous women's hockey team that was in international play and Olympic play as well too. And 3 NHL players, Shea Weber, Pavel Datsyuk, and my personal favorite player from my childhood, Jeremy Roenick, all enshrined in the NHL Hall of Fame. Congratulations to all of you guys and girls. Thank you for being ambassadors for the sport of hockey. And now we'll be going on to the games I'll be going on this weekend. We'll go ahead and start with Friday's games here as I get to the very top. We have the Penguins and the Columbus Blue Jackets at 7 o'clock. We also will have the Capitals and the Avalanche, my squad, taking on each other at 9 o'clock. Breakdown of that game. Nico Rantanen had a hat trick on Wednesday against the Los Angeles Kings. Very clutch Wednesday night win. Nathan McKinnon, who is the player on the back of this hoodie here, 3 assists on the game as well too. The Avs have a very lightning quick offense, but so do the Capitals, as Dylan Strome, who got 18 assists this season, 23 points total. He's assisted Alexander Ovechkin in all 10 of his goals as he chases Wayne Gretzky's record. Dylan Strome been a very good center on that very front line, as this will be a very, very good offensive game. The Nashville Predators will be taking on the Calgary Flames also at 9 o'clock. And a very fun offensive game will be going on as the Vegas Golden Knights will be taking on the Utah Hockey Club. Shout outs to the Utah Hockey Club as their jerseys are going on sale at NHL.com today. So if you're a fan of the squad, or if you're like me and just like the way that jersey is made, go copy one on NHLshop.com. But to the game here, the Vegas Golden Knights, probably one of the best offensive teams in the NHL this year. Fun squad, very fast squad, as they'll be taking on the Utah Hockey Club in Salt Lake City. And the Detroit Red Wings will be taking on the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. Detroit having a very clutch overtime win on Wednesday night, going to carry in that momentum as they go into Friday's game. And as we go into Saturday's games now, the St. Louis Blues taking on the Boston Bruins in Boston at 1 p.m. Your little afternoon games right there. I like the afternoon games. They're very, very fun, very competitive hockey. And the New York Islanders will be taking on the Seattle Kraken in Seattle, Washington at 4 p.m. on Saturday. And this will be a really, really fun game. I like this as well, as the Edmonton Oilers, a resurgent Edmonton Oilers squad with Leon Draisaitl, 12 goals, tied for the top spot in goals as we speak. And Connor McDavid, since the injury, has come back in full force, 7 points in the past 2 games. He's 1 point away from 1,000 points all time for Connor McDavid, the captain, Connor McDavid, as the Edmonton Oilers are gaining ground as we speak after having a very sluggish beginning. They're gaining ground right now, getting their offensive spark back with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid leading the way. But the Toronto Maple Leafs, the only squad that has beaten the Winnipeg Jets this year, a very, very stingy defense, as they're going to be going up against the very strong offensive attack of the Edmonton Oilers at 7 o'clock. That's on NHL Net, if you can pick that game up in Toronto, Canada. And then at 7 p.m., the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Cole Caulfield. Sorry about that. Hard to say twice. He's tied for most goals in the league. He's got 12 goals. There's a four-way tie for that top spot. Very, very fast squad. The Canadians are a young squad, 5-9-2, but they're going through a little growing pains, but they're still a fun hockey team to watch when it comes down to scoring some goals. And at 7 o'clock, the New Jersey Devils and the Tampa Bay Lightning will be playing each other. Dangerous power play that the New Jersey Devils have, 31 points in 19 games on the power play, and an 8th-ranked penalty kill, which is what has been propelling the Devils to an 11-6-2 record with a 7-3 away record going up against the Tampa Bay Lightning, as Nikita Kucherov, one of the players that is an impact guy on that Tampa Bay Lightning squad. No more Steve Stamkos, as he's with the Nashville Predators. So Nikita Kucherov is taking that squad on with 23 points so far this season. And of course, the biggest story in hockey right now, the Winnipeg Jets are playing the Florida Panthers. What can be said that has not been said about the Winnipeg Jets? Probably one of the best goalies in the NHL right now, Connor Hellebuyck. One of the best scoring lines in all of NHL with Scheifele, Velarde, and Kyle Connor leading the way. Great scoring, very, very good power play, number 1 ranked power play in the NHL. So whenever the Jets have the man advantage, they're deadly. 7-0 away from home as they're going to sunny Florida to play the Florida Panthers, the defending champions, with Sam Reinhart in that 4-way tie for most goals in the NHL with 12 goals. He's got 24 points on the season, even 12-12, 12 goals, 12 assists. The Panthers looking to defend home ice against the streaky Winnipeg Jets, and the Buffalo Sabres and the Philadelphia Flyers, the San Jose Sharks, and the Pittsburgh Penguins all playing at 7 o'clock. And then the Ottawa Senators playing the home team, the Carolina Hurricanes, as the Hurricanes have been playing very, very well. Nikas, my man, Nikas, I like him a lot. He's a very, very good player. He's came on very, very strong this season. 9 goals, 16 assists, 25 points, being a catalyst for that offense for the Carolina Hurricanes. And Later on, as we cap out the night on the West Coast, as the Dallas Stars, who have played very, very well, Matt Duchene with 18 points in 14 games, taking on Kirill Kaprizov, who is already a early candidate for the Hart Trophy, 28 points. He was a 5th round pick. I wonder how many teams would love to have him right now, being the 5th round pick, the 27-year-old Russian winger, playing some very, very great offensive hockey, keeping the Minnesota Wild relevant in the NHL. And then, of course, you've got the Detroit Red Wings and the Los Angeles Kings and the Chicago Blackhawks and the Vancouver Canucks closing out the night for Saturday. And then, of course, going into Sunday's game, which they have a shorter slate with it being on Sunday. They got to make way for some football. So, of course, if you're not watching football, check out the 5 o'clock game between the St. Louis Blues and the home team, Carolina Hurricanes. Then, of course, the Capitals and the Golden Knights, another great offensive game. Going to be closing it out at 8 o'clock. And then the 9 o'clock games with the Seattle Kraken and the New York Rangers, who have probably the best tandem in goalies right now in the NHL, playing up against the upstart Seattle Kraken and the Nashville Predators and the Vancouver Canucks. Quinn Hughes, 13 assists on the defensive side right here. Very offensively sounded defenseman, but a hard hitter as well for those Vancouver Canucks. They'll be playing the Predators at 10 o'clock on Sunday night. These are your NHL quick hits for this week. Watch some hockey. And you know I love Fridays, even Fridays that I work, and the weekends that I work as well too. But that's okay, because y'all know what Friday is for. Friday is for football. That's right. College game is going to be served up on Saturday. We've got some matchups that need to be discussed because we got a playoff picture that we're painting here. We got the conference championships that are being painted here. The Heisman Trophy is going to be looked at as well too, because we've got some Heisman hopefuls on display this week. So let's talk about this college football that we got going on Saturday. Now, there are going to be some games that we pretty much know what the outcomes are going to be. We have a good idea what they're going to be. So I'll go ahead down the line with them, and then we'll talk about these marquee matchups that we have here. So starting off here, Ohio State, the 28.5-point favorite against Northwestern. Ohio State's looking to next week. They'll take care of business with Northwestern because next week they've got a date at the Horseshoe with Daddy Cincinnati and the Indiana Hoosiers, who are undefeated, who are on the bye week. We're going to be sitting back watching Ohio State play Northwestern. So they're on the bye week. They're going to be seeing them in the Horseshoe next week. So Ohio State going to take care of business so they can get ready for the Hoosiers. And then Alabama should take care of Mercer, the Mercer Bears, who are number 1 in the Southern Conference. They should take care of business, but unfortunately they won't take care of business, especially in Tuscaloosa and against an Alabama squad that has been playing some good football as of last week. And Penn State, who is a 28.5-point favorite against the Purdue Boilermakers, they'll take care of Purdue. Purdue was unable to score an offensive touchdown against the Ohio State Buckeyes last week, so I don't see them doing much against Penn State. That Big Ten is tough for the Purdue Boilermakers. Give me Penn State in that game. Notre Dame, 23-point favorite against Virginia. Notre Dame should take care of business in that game. SMU versus the Boston College Golden Eagles. Give me the Mustangs. 19.5-point favorite over Boston College. Louisville, the Cardinals, 20.5-point favorite against the Stanford Cardinal. Louisville's got it taken care of. They're going to win that game. Oregon, a 14-point favorite over the Wisconsin Badgers. Give me the Ducks. Quack, quack. Against the Wisconsin Badgers. They will win that game. The Ducks will take care of business. And a 39-point favorite, Texas A&M taking on New Mexico State. Sorry about that. Texas A&M going to take care of business. 39-point favorite. They should be able to breeze past New Mexico State. Boise State in a conference showdown against San Jose State. Give me Boise State. Ashton Genty for the Heisman Trophy, please. And to round it out at night, Washington State, 12.5-point favorite over the New Mexico Lobos. Give me Washington State in that game. Now, let's talk about some of these games that we're going to be seeing this weekend. Boy, we got some barn burners at 12 o'clock p.m. Texas will take on Arkansas. Now, is this a trap game for Texas? Now, looking at Arkansas here, they're 5-4, 3-3 in the SEC. They've had some notable games. These past couple of games they played, they're 1-1 in the state of Mississippi. Unfortunately, they beat a Mississippi State squad that has not won an SEC game this year and got the doors blown off from an upstart Ole Miss squad. Jackson Dart, 6 touchdowns, 510 yards against this Arkansas Razorback squad. This is not a trap game for Texas, as Texas will get the win. They're a 13.5-point favorite. Give me Texas in Fayetteville, Arkansas against the Razorbacks. No Woo Pig, no Suey. Texas going to take care of business. And Colorado versus Utah. 12 o'clock. We've got Colorado, 11.5-point favorite against Utah, who is up and down this season after losing their starting quarterback, Cam Rising, who I liked really, really well. Ended up losing him in the middle of the season. Utah almost beating an undefeated BYU squad in the Holy War. So is this going to be the game that Colorado goes down with their remarkable momentum? Let me tell you what, Colorado has a reason to win this game, because if they win out in these 3 games, there's a possibility that they could play for the championship. They could get an opportunity at BYU. Who knows? They could. But they've got 3 winnable games, Utah being one of them, the Kansas Jayhawks, and then the Oklahoma State Cowboys. This is bulletin board material for Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. So give me Colorado over the Utah Utes at 12 o'clock on Saturday. And Clemson up against Pitt. Number 20, Clemson up against Pitt. Clemson is the number 1 team in ACC. Pitt could play party crash to them. Now, both these teams are very vulnerable. Pitt, unfortunately, being knocked out of the top 25 by the Virginia Cavaliers. And Clemson, a near brush against Virginia Tech. Almost gave it to them. But Pitt dropping these past 2 games. Pitt's on a downward slide. Clemson looking to recapture the ACC yet again. So go ahead and give me the Clemson Tigers over the Pitt Panthers as they play in Pittsburgh this weekend. Now, this is going to be an interesting one as well, too. We've got the American Conference on the line as the Tulane Green Wave going against the Navy Midshipmen. Now, we talked about the Navy Midshipmen all year with their prolific passing game. They dropped 2 games that they should not have dropped. Now, 1 game they were going to drop. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they were favored in that game. The Fighting Irish took care of business like they were supposed to. But last week's loss to Rice was not what Navy had in mind. Shouldn't have done that. They're going to be playing a very tough Tulane Green Wave, who have a very good defense and an even better running game, as Mekhi Hughes, 212 carries for 1,209 yards this year, 13 touchdowns. He's a scoring machine. Tulane has won 7 straight games, and they have a shot at the American Conference title. Give me Tulane. They got a lot to play for. Give me the Green Wave over Navy this weekend in Indianapolis. Now, here comes more fun in the SEC as LSU and Florida going to take on each other. Now, mind you, These two teams are on emotional roller coasters. Florida dropping 2 big games in a row, along with LSU. LSU losing the heartbreaker this past weekend in Death Valley. Looking like they could have been a formidable squad to play in that field of 12. But Alabama said, no, no, no. And LSU, unfortunately, getting the loss convincingly. Lost by 29. But this is going to be LSU's get-right game. I don't see Florida winning this game. I don't see that happening. LSU has some potent offensive weapons. I think Garrett Nussmeier will get his feet underneath him at the quarterback position. And I see LSU winning in Gainesville against the Florida Gators. Now, this matchup is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to Mizzou versus South Carolina as they're playing in Columbia in this game. Now, South Carolina has been very, very impressive this year. Mizzou has had a pretty good year this year. The last time they met, which was last year, Mizzou won convincingly. But this is a different squad this year. This South Carolina Gamecock squad is very, very different. Now, they have a very good defense. Their defense has been very good, but their offense has came on as of late. Lenore Sellers playing good at that quarterback spot. And, of course, Rocket Sanders, the Arkansas Razorback transfer, going to South Carolina this year. He's played some good football. Almost 700 yards rushing this season. To couple with that South Carolina defense, I got the Gamecocks in this game against the Missouri Tigers at home. They're the 12-point favorite. I believe they will get it done. And this is another fun matchup that I'm looking forward to. Is Arizona State will be taking on Kansas State, the number 16 squad in the nation. They're playing in Manhattan, Kansas. Now, this is going to be interesting. Avery Johnson has played some good football at the quarterback position. He got him the win against their rivals, the Kansas Jayhawks, who were close to winning that game. So this was an interesting game that we had last week. Arizona State has played some good football as well, as both these teams are neck and neck in the Big 12 right now. Kansas State, number 16 team in the nation. They got the home field. Kansas State will win this game, but it will not be an easy win, as Arizona State's got a good rushing offense here with Cam Scatterbo, 173 yards on the ground, like carrying the ball, and 1,001 yards, 11 touchdowns this season. Arizona State's going to play. They're going to come to play even though they are not at home. They're on the road in this game. But give me Kansas State to outlast the Arizona State Sun Devils. And these next two are going to be interesting as well, too. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the late game because I'm going to set it up for the 7:30 game. The late game, the 10:15 game, will be BYU versus the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, listen. BYU has been disrespected as of late. They're not looked at as a favorite squad, although they are undefeated. They're only a 3-point favorite against the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, last time that happened, they played Central Florida 2 weeks ago. They were 4.5-point favorite. There were some teams even taking Central Florida over BYU. And BYU exceeded expectations. And then, of course, last week, they almost lost to their rival, to Utah. They were close to losing it. But I'm just going to go ahead and say BYU is going to go ahead and take Kansas out of the equation. Give me BYU in this game. And the 7:30 game, which is going to be the primetime game. We got Georgia versus Tennessee. Another SEC matchup. Tennessee finding themselves number 1 in the SEC. And then Georgia at one point in time looking to be the SEC champion. Unfortunately, dogs it last week to Ole Miss in a convincing fashion for the Ole Miss Rebels, getting the win. This is going to be fun because Tennessee has a very good defense. Their defense shut down Alabama in order to get the win. Georgia, I believe Georgia's having trouble with their quarterback Carson Beck making the decisions that he's making. 2 weeks ago, he threw 3 picks. but was able to escape the win against a not so great Florida squad. But I don't think the miscues will help Georgia. Give me Tennessee. Give me Tennessee on the road away from Neyland Stadium, winning in Athens, Georgia. They got to play the Commodores to win it at the end of the season for the SEC championship. Give it to Tennessee. And these are your college football quick hits for this week. Enjoy the football, everybody. Let's go. School is cool and all that, but let's go ahead and go to the pro game, the NFL. Now, let's talk about last week. The highlights and the takeaways that I got from last week is that Joe Burrow and the Bengals can score 100 points and lose 101-100. The Panthers on a 2-game winning streak. That means Ryan Frick and I got something nice to talk about on the Cat Cave, which you can catch on Tobacco Road Sports Radio's YouTube channel every Wednesday. Go back and watch the episodes on demand on the Tobacco Road Sports Radio YouTube channel. And the Bears line couldn't stop a tricycle as the Patriots had a field day chasing Caleb Williams around the field. And then Joe Flacco showing his age with 4 turnovers, which ultimately led to the Colts giving the job back to Andy Richardson. And new coach, who that? The Saints beat the Falcons in Coach Riz's first game as interim head coach. And Jake Moody, he can hit it when it counts as my 49ers survive one against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And clutch Russ, big time touchdown to raise the Steelers over the Washington Commanders. Yes, I said Commanders. Yes, I got it right this time. And the Chiefs still undefeated. They were close to losing it, but the Big Mitt knocking away the field goal against the Denver Broncos keeps the Chiefs at 9-0. And Sam Darnold, is he regressing as the Vikings getting away from loss, beating the Jaguars, although Sam Darnold threw 3 interceptions in that game. And Coach Harbaugh, is it magic or is it wonderful coaching as the Chargers are playing some good football? They ended up getting the win this past week. And the Cowboys 0-4 at home. The place that Jerry Jones built, the Jerry Dome. They can't win there as they get the doors blown off of them by the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, Dad and the boys, rough episode this week. And JETS, tank, as the Jets lose big time against the Arizona Cardinals. 5 interceptions and still getting the win for Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, who have a wonderful offense. But this time around, they looked a little human, looked a little slower against the Houston Texans on Sunday Night Football. And the Dolphins back in the win column after having a little trouble getting Tua back into the fold, getting the offense back into a rhythm. They end up getting a good win against the LA Rams. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this week. Let's make some picks. As I got the old picks right here in the nice little notebook. Unfortunately, silly me did not say who, did not give a Thursday night football preview on Tuesday. And I know that this episode is going to be on after the Thursday night game, but I am taking the Eagles in that game. Hopefully I'm right. We will see. As we go further, we're going to go ahead and get the games out of the way that I feel like don't need to be stressed a lot, because there are 3 games that I feel like need to be stressed this week. So let's get to the games that don't need to be stressed. The Lions are going to take care of the Jags. The Lions did have that not so great game where Jared Goff threw 5 picks, like I said before, but I think they're going to be fine as they will beat the Jaguars. And the Vikings will beat the Titans. Sorry about that. The Vikings will beat the Titans this week. They had trouble with the AFC South opponent this past week, but I think the Vikings will be fine against the Titans. But we'll have to pay attention to Sam Darnold, if he's regressing or not, or if the Vikings are being figured out on offense, or if that team's being figured out. So we will see. And the Dolphins will get the win over the Raiders. The Dolphins getting back into the win column. They do have a short week going against the Raiders, but I think they will be fine. The Raiders are going to go with Gardner Minshew still, but that's not going to help them against the Dolphins here. And the Rams, even though they were on the short week this past week, they will be playing the Patriots, and I see them winning that game. The Rams getting healthy at the right time. They're getting the timing down on offense. They're having a little trouble with the running game on offense, but the passing game is here to stay with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp doing what they do great as receivers. And, of course, Matthew Stafford throwing the football effectively. Give me the Rams over the Patriots. And the Saints. This will be an ugly game to me, but I think the Saints will get it done. The Saints have a little more push on the offense, with Alvin Kamara being a factor for the Saints in the running and the passing game, but the passing game more, as he has 51 catches this year. So I say the Saints will take care of the Browns. The Jets will take care of the Colts. Andy Richardson will be making another debut this year, with Joe Flacco taking a seat, watching the young man progress. But I don't think the Colts are going to get past the Jets. The Jets will break the skid that they're having on this game here. The Jets over the Colts. The Falcons will take care of the Broncos. The Broncos coming off of a heartbreaking loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Falcons have some push on offense. I think they have a better offense, but their defense is something that can be looked at as well, too. The Broncos still playing good football, but I think they will come up short. It'll be a close game as the Falcons will take care of the Broncos. My 49ers taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Every time they lock horns, it doesn't matter. This is a division game. I'm saying my 49ers are going to win it, even though I know the 49ers still have the odds in their favor as being the favorite team, but they're getting healthy at the right time. Seattle's having a little trouble on the offensive side of the football. My guys have a very talented, stout front seven that just got better via the trade deadline. So I think that they will have a good game against the Seattle Seahawks. Give me my 49ers. And the Texans, unfortunately, after having a little trouble against Detroit where they could have beat them, I think they will take care of the Cowboys. Now, the three games I want to break down are coming at you right now. We got a conference showdown as the Ravens and the Steelers are going to take on each other at 1 o'clock in Pittsburgh. This is going to be an interesting game as the Ravens and the Steelers are fighting for supremacy in the AFC North. And this is wonderful here. You got Russ, who is having a great couple of weeks. He's had a great couple of weeks. The Steelers are winning, which is surprising to a lot of people because, Lord, who did the Steelers have? They were having trouble at the quarterback spot. They didn't know if they wanted to start Justin Fields or if they wanted to start Russ. They went with Russ. Russ has been playing some clutch football. He had a very clutch game against the Commanders, a squad that it looked like they weren't going to beat, but they were able to do so. Russ has been playing well. The offense has been playing timely, but the defense has been big. Patrick Queen on that Steelers squad, going to be playing his old squad again. The Ravens, who have been nothing short but magnificent on offense, with Lamar Jackson being the quarterback that you love to see rack up stats all over the place in the running for a third MVP. And then, of course, you got King Henry in the backfield, who is running like he's 22 years old yet again. I think that will be the factor in this game. The Steelers have a good defense, but I don't think they've seen a rusher like Derrick Henry this year. So give me the Ravens in this game. This is going to be fun to watch. I think the Ravens are going to get it done. And You got the Bills versus the Chiefs. Allen versus Mahomes. This is a heavyweight matchup. This is a heavyweight boxing match. This is a match here that does not favor Josh Allen. Josh Allen has had trouble with Patrick Mahomes historically. Playoffs, regular season, doesn't matter. He's had trouble with Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs have been winning ugly this year. They're a gritty football team. They were gritty last year. They're gritty this year. And they don't mind to show it. They're finding ways to win when it looks like they're finding ways to lose. And the Bills are looking like an offensive masterpiece out there with Josh Allen orchestrating it, being a conductor, like a wonderful orchestra. That's what he does. He's been playing some good football this year. Both of these quarterbacks come in here evenly matched. I think that Allen has the advantage in this game here. He has the advantage. As you can see, they're playing in Orchard Park, New York. So give me the Bills to break the 9-game winning streak of the Kansas City Chiefs. We haven't seen the last of the Chiefs because the Chiefs are a squad that can win it. And we have a who is who game with the Bengals and the Chargers. What is going on here with these squads? The Chargers are playing good football. They're being coached well playing football. And then the Bengals, who, to quote my friend Ryan Frick, look like world beaters out there 1 week. And then the next week, they fall victim to that squad. The Bengals are a very efficient offense, very wonderful offense. They've got Joe Burrow and they have Jamar Chase, the best quarterback receiving tandem in the NFL right now. Most yards between the two, most touchdowns between the two. Very, very dangerous combination. That's why I'm going to go ahead and say the Bengals are going to win this matchup here. Give me the Bengals in a convincing fashion on Sunday Night Football. Looking forward to that game. These are your NFL quick hits for this weekend. Enjoy the football and watch the Gridiron Address, 7:45 on Sunday in between your 4 p.m. games and the Sunday Night Football. Aaron Schneider, what's good, my man? Congrats on the show. You're doing a heck of a job. Enjoy the football. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. That is all she wrote for this week on Quick Hits. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching this week. Continue to watch everybody on Boom Broadcasting. We got some great shows. Continue to support us. Continue to give us your viewership. Cost you $3.99 to subscribe, just like Michael Davis says, on Out of Pocket. Thank you guys again for your continued support. Now, my shout outs for this week, of course, I want to shout out my Mount Pleasant Blue Hawks here. I have a sweet little pre-K class that I read to every month. Great bunch of kids. I got to do that today. Enjoyed the book, enjoyed the time with them, the fellowship with them. It was wonderful. It was fun. Shout out to my man, Jason Colenso with 3 from Deep as he's talking about the NBA. Shout out to my man, Chris DeLuca, who's been doing the baseball as well, too. So make sure you tune in to Dugout Debrief on Thursday. Make sure that you watch that show. Watch 3 from Deep on Monday. Continue to watch Out of Pocket Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. My man, Michael Davis, one of the best live shows out there. I got my start on that show. Actually, it was my 1-year anniversary on Wednesday that I made my first appearance on the very first Out of Pocket that I ever did. That was a lot of fun. Appreciate every bit of that, MD. Appreciate you, my man. Make sure that you're watching Mouthing Off with Mike Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the nightcap. Breaking down some wrestling. Also, the Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast on Wednesday with Michael Davis. And also get the It Stinks TV and Movie Podcast on Thursday. And Wrestling of Destiny on Saturday with my man Sean Lucas. Make sure you get that going. And I so forget this guy all the time. And I'm so hurt by doing this here. I talk about the football that's been going on this week. But I failed to mention my man Carson Williams, who does the Lombardi Party for the Green Bay Packers. Watch his podcast. One thing I love about Carson is that he breaks down some great basketball. Very big basketball head. His Cleveland Cavaliers are killing it right now. But also, he breaks down some good football talking about the Green Bay Packers. So make sure that you're watching him and tune in to Sideline Savants on Wednesday. Almost forgot it right there. On Wednesday, Sideline Savants. Tune in to my man Wayne, the Commissioner Thomas, and Jason Colenso also too, as they're talking about their sits and their starts for fantasy football. So make sure that you're watching them. And the Gridiron Address on Sunday with my man Aaron Schneider. In between those 4 o'clock games and the Sunday night football around that 7:45. Great talks about some football leading into Sunday night football. Make sure that you tune into those shows. Guys, I'll be working this weekend, unfortunately. Won't be watching everything live. But I'm going to bust my tail and get ready for Tuesday's show. We going to get there, everybody. Thank you for your support. Thank you for what you do for Boom Broadcasting. Enjoy the hockey, the football, the basketball, the boxing, the UFC. Enjoy sports. Enjoy wrestling. Remember, wrestling is the ultimate gentleman sport. See you guys on Tuesday. I'm Shannon Smith, and this is Quick Hits.